Eyewitness News at 5 starts now.
A state line police chief talks the day after being involved in a standoff with a 9-year-old. The top cop says despite the stressful call, his officers' training came through.
The first 6 months of recreational cannabis sales in Illinois rake in $200 million in sales. Some say the stress of the global pandemic may have people looking to pot to help with anxiety.
A state line community's only grocery store is back open for business. The changes shoppers will see in hopes of preventing another COVID closure.
Good evening, I'm Mimi Murphy.
And I'm Eric Wilson. Having a gun pointed at them while on a call is a traumatic experience for anyone in law enforcement. But
a child behind the trigger is something even the most stringent training can't emotionally prepare officers for. Alexis Carpello talked with Beloit PD, whose officers were put in that very situation yesterday.
Beloit police officers had to think and act quickly as they received a disturbing phone call yesterday. A family was hiding from a 9-year-old child with autism, pointing what appeared to be a handgun at them. Beloit Police Chief David Zabolski says hearing that type of call is stressful and concerning for the responding officers. Zabolski explains to me that his officers go through extensive training to help them know what actions to take. He's confident in that training as well as the actions of his police officers.
We were trained not to have to use lethal force because the belief at this time was that there was a real gun and no one was really certain.
Officers did use a 40mm rubber bullet to disorient the child, and that's when they learned the handgun that he was holding was fake. At 6, I'll have more details of what training Beloit police officers go through. But for now, in Beloit for your home team, I'm Alexis Carpello.
A man is killed when a semi hits him in a Rockford parking lot. It happened around 6 this morning on Walton Street at Walmart. A semi-truck hit a 59-year-old man. The victim's name won't be released until families notified. Rockford police are investigating what led up to that crash. Winnebago County deputies asked for help finding a burglary suspect caught on tape. They're looking for the man you're going to see in this video. Investigators say he's a suspect in a string of car burglaries in the Roscoe area. The footage shows a young white male with what looks like blonde or light-colored hair checking to see if the car's doors are unlocked. He's wearing jeans, a graphic t-shirt. If you know who this is or have any information, call the Winnebago County Sheriff's Detective Bureau.
Recreational pot is one industry that hasn't seen a downturn during the COVID-19 pandemic.
I told you yesterday, people spent nearly $240 million on the legal drug. Michelle Rave talked with experts who say the legal cannabis and CBD may be people's way of dealing with the stress of living through this health crisis.
Will Peterson is one of 5 co-owners of Planet 3. The company sells hemp and CBD products. Peterson says since opening in May, demand for products is high.
There's a real need for it. It's the stress, the anxiety, some depression, the sleepless nights that people are dealing with, and they want to turn to something that's a natural supplement.
KP Counseling Director of Addiction Services, Pat Spangler, says he's also seen a rise in people using marijuana.
The legalization hit and then COVID, so it's hard to tell which is which, but the two combined together for certain, skyrocketing. You can just drive by and see the lines.
Spangler says it's been nonstop with clients battling depression, stress, and anxiety due to the pandemic. He says it's important people find the best coping mechanism that best suits them.
People have lost their distractions, whether it be work or hobbies or travel or kids' sports or whatever it may be, and so more things that they normally don't get to think about, they think about, and it can create anxiety.
The fact that hemp and CBD is one of those natural supplements that does help the body to calm, relax, provides better sleep. It's an antidepressant, it's an anti-anxiety natural supplement.
Planet 3 only sells hemp and CBD products. Those don't contain THC, the mind-altering chemical in marijuana. Shop owners say people choose to go to them because people want to use organic and natural supplements.
It's become more popular. It's definitely in the mainstream now, and there's in so many products.
In Rockford, for your home team, I'm Michelle Rave.
Illinois leaders talk ways to keep COVID-19 cases from surging like in neighboring states. Governor Pritzker announced new mitigation efforts in a COVID update. There are 3 tiers of mitigation health officials can use when regions meet certain metrics. Those include an uptick in hospital admissions, reduced ICU capacity, or positivity rates over 8% for 3 days in a row. Leaders say recent outbreaks can be traced to youth sports, house parties, and gatherings at bars.
Ages 10 to 19 and ages 20 to 29, they are having higher case rates now than ever before in this pandemic. We are following this very closely, but young people and parents of young people, please be aware. This virus is now being spread by youth.
In higher risk areas, indoor bars and restaurants would be some of the first businesses to shut back down.
A state-line grocery store reopens after shutting down due to COVID. Oregon's Super Value reopened its doors today. That comes after the Ogle County Health Department ordered the store's closure a week ago. The store says it will be shorthanded. Only employees and their families with negative test results are allowed to work. Hours are shortened. Right now it's 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Those could change. Masks are required for shoppers in the store. An employee will be at the entrance reminding customers to cover up. Shelves might be a little bare too. A number of products had to be thrown out. Parents across the country are cautiously counting down until the start of the new school year.
But some educators are worried and are asking the federal government for more help with a safe path forward. Our Washington correspondent Raquel Martin has more on the debate between parties as they struggle to pass new funding in time, as she keeps you connected to the nation's capital.
With the school year just weeks away and the last round of coronavirus relief money running out.
We want to get back to in-person instruction safely, but that's going to require funding.
Lindsay Jensen is a 12th grade teacher in Illinois.
Educators are not sacrificial lambs.
She says the federal government must act to protect teachers and students if they're to safely return to the classroom.
This should not be a political issue.
Jensen says fortunately her rural district has some money left over from the last aid package, but says larger districts are scrambling.
We need the proper PPE, but some schools, they're going to require extra buses, extra bus drivers, extra bus routes. Other schools might require more teachers.
It is in the hands of Mitch McConnell. And it's time he gets the job done.
Illinois Democrat Sherry Busto says the fastest way to help cash-strapped schools is for Senate Republicans to vote for the HEROES Act, which passed the House 2 months ago.
That would provide another $100 billion for students in schools at a time when resources are desperately needed.
But Illinois Republican Rodney Davis says Republicans won't support the bill.
A $3 trillion wish list package.
Davis says Congress must draft a bipartisan bill that can actually become law.
I think there should be a sense of urgency.
Well, there's urgency to get something done once we get a chance to see what still needs to be done.
Davis says he wants a package passed by this month, but so far lawmakers seem unable to negotiate an agreement. In Washington, Raquel Martin.
A state-line hospital opens a primary care clinic to serve one of the Rockford region's biggest employers.
It's Swedish American's third employer-based clinic. The new clinic will serve over 8,500 Fiat Chrysler Belvidere Assembly Plant employees and their families. It will be located at the Swedish American Medical Center on South State in Belvidere. The FCA Family Health and Wellness Center will provide acute, preventative, and wellness-focused primary care. Hospital administrators say everyone will benefit from the partnership.
A great chance to really get patients engaged in their own care better, and it gives staff and the physicians a great chance to get to know the population they're working with at a much more detailed level.
The first employer-based clinic opened in 2017 with Woodward.
A Rockford church opens its doors to people needing to escape the heat. Second First Church on North Church downtown will act as a cooling center. It will be open every day from 10 to 4. The pandemic's caused many places once designated as cooling centers to close or cut back on how many people can come inside. After seeing the above-average temperatures hit the state line, several agencies came together to make sure people in Rockford have a place to cool off.
As with most churches, our buildings, although our church is very active, our buildings are pretty empty. So for us to be able to jump in and respond when the health department says there is a need, we're really grateful to be able to provide this to the community.
There are 2 state-run cooling centers in the area. For those locations, just head to mystateline.com.
Now your first warm weather forecast with meteorologist Kevin Doom.
Rain is really coming down over much of the state line. That includes here in Rockford, which we can see looking over the Jefferson Street Bridge using our Mercy Health SkyTrack. Now the rain did take a bit of a break earlier this morning following last night's thunderstorms, but it really started to fill in the state line here just over the past several hours, just over the past few hours rather, and now most of the state line is seeing some pretty good rainfall, even seeing a few embedded thunderstorms in there as well. Now this rain is actually extending through much of the state, bringing some severe weather. Even a few tornado warnings respond in parts of central Illinois. We're not expecting any severe weather here in the state line. However, now this setup that is causing this rain, it features 3 frontal boundaries, and so that's why this rain is extending very far up north. But we should be far north enough where we're not expecting anything severe for the night. One of our weather watchers, Mike, out in Foreston, reported from the time the rain started, about 3 o'clock p.m. through just before 5, he received just under an inch of rainfall. So quite a bit of rain in a fairly short amount of time. Thanks, Mike, for that report. So looking ahead with future casts, this chance of rain will likely stick with us through the remainder of the evening or so, slowly tapering off later on this evening, especially parts out to our west. They'll likely see the rain fade away a little bit earlier on, but the majority, if not all of the state line, should be dry through the overnight hours of tonight. Now we will hang on to that cloud cover though, which means we'll likely wake up tomorrow to some mostly cloudy skies, but a lot of this cloud cover will clear up gradually throughout the day, so we'll see lots of sunshine overall for your Thursday, not expecting any rain for your Thursday either. We're also expecting lots of sunshine to wrap up your work week on Friday, but this time there is a slight chance that we could see a few isolated showers pop up later on in the day. Temperatures were fairly warm for some time late or earlier on this afternoon, with a high of 80 degrees so far in Rockford, but this rain really cooled us off over the past several hours. Right now we're at 71 in Rockford, whereas it's 74 in DeKalb, 70 in Freeport, all the way down to 68 degrees for a current temperature over in Savannah. But these temperatures are really going to warm up here over the next several days, and the humidity is going to make it feel even warmer. So our dew point temperature today was 70 degrees, but that's thanks to the rain and added a lot of moisture in the low levels of our atmosphere here today. Now, our dew point temperature is going to sink quite a bit for tomorrow, only getting down to the lower 60s before rising back up into the upper 60s for Friday, as temperatures should be nearing 90 degrees. So that could make things feel more like the middle to upper 90s. But come this weekend, we're going to hang on to temperatures in the 90s, and then our dew point temperatures are going to drive up into the mid, possibly even upper 70s. So it's going to make things feel more like the triple digits for both Saturday and for Sunday. So the heat is absolutely making a return this weekend. Tonight, temperatures aren't going to fall off too much following this rainfall. Going to bottom out in the mid 60s or so for a low. Once again, this rain should last through most of the evening before tapering off through the overnight hours of tonight. Tomorrow, we're in the mid 80s. Lots of sunshine expected with no rain for your Thursday. That chance of rain does return for Friday, although that's just a slight chance for a few isolated showers before a storm chance does return for both Saturday and Sunday. Along with that heat, we're talking temperatures in the lower 90s. Once again, things could feel more like the triple digits for your week.
Now, the Napleton Sports Desk with Sports Director Scott Leber.
There's no question the White Sox will miss Michael Kopech during this short season, but Dallas Keuchel should give that starting rotation a major boost. He was on the hill today for the White Sox inter-squad scrimmage at Guaranteed Rate Field, and here he is facing Andrew Vaughn, and Keuchel gets the grounder to Tim Anderson, who will make the throw out to first. Keuchel faced 11 batters, and he retired all 11. With all the great young talent the Sox have, Zach Collins gets overlooked. That won't happen for long if he keeps going deep like this. Collins connected off Kelvin Herrera for a 2-run homer in the top of the 5th inning. In the bottom of the 5th, Eloy Jimenez rips Tayron Guerrero's pitch. That'll hit off the center field fence. It was an RBI triple, and it brought home Yasmani Grandal. Later that inning, Nomar Mazara hits a soft single through a wide-open left side of the infield. That scored Jimenez. And the White Sox home team, which included most of the Sox starters, beat the Sox visitors 6-2. White Sox and Bulls owner Jerry Reinsdorf tells the USA Today that the pandemic will likely cost him well over $100 million in lost revenue. Most of that will be due to the shortened baseball season with no fans in the seats. Reinsdorf says he's worried about next year already because he doesn't know when things will be back to normal. Don't forget about making any trips to Green Bay for training camp or for preseason games. The Packers say no fans will be allowed at either of them. Team president Mark Murphy says local health officials have convinced the Packers this is the safe road to take. Murphy says he's still hopeful the fans will be allowed to attend the regular season games. The Patriots say they will limit fans to only 20% capacity for regular season games at Gillette Stadium, so 13,000 fans will be allowed inside instead of the usual 66,000. Dominic Kubalik is a finalist for the NHL's top rookie honor, the Calder Memorial Trophy. Kubalik led all NHL rookies in goals this season with 30. He also had 16 assists. He's only the 5th rookie in Blackhawks history to score 30 goals. Ian Mitchell's ready to join the Blackhawks organization. He signed a 3-year entry-level contract with them. Mitchell was the Blackhawks' second-round draft pick in 2017. He was dominant in college at the University of Denver the last few seasons. He accounted for 32 points in 36 games this past season as a junior.
Heavy rainfall continues to fall over much of the state line as it has been over the past several hours. Now, we expect a chance of rain to last through most of the evening here before conditions should dry up through the overnight hours of tonight. Temperatures going to drop off in the mid-60s. We're currently in the lower 70s throughout the area. We're looking at mid-80s for a high tomorrow. Good amount of sunshine for most of the day after some cloud cover clears up later on in the morning hours. Then just a slight chance of rain returns for Friday before we do see a chance for a few thunderstorms here and there for both Saturday and for Sunday. The heat is really going to drive up as well for the weekend. Lower 90s for Friday, sticking around for Saturday and Sunday with heat indices possibly as high as the triple digits before we see a little bit of a cool down to kick off our next work week. Here, Mimi.
The weekend sounded hot. All right, thanks, Kevin.
Thank you for spending a little time with us. Stay safe.